into that affair. Today, under pressure, Oxfam finally released that report. Our correspondent Jonathan Sacerdoti following it in London. Jonathan, first take us through the headlines out of that report, your takeaways.
Well, earlier this month, the Times newspaper published those allegations that workers from Oxfam in Haiti had used prostitutes in 2011. And the allegations also included that they had had prostitutes on charity property, sexual exploitation of employees, fraud, negligence and nepotism. And the BBC is today reporting that a driver hired in Haiti by Oxfam around the 2010 earthquake mission was forced to deliver prostitutes to employees or risk losing their jobs. So the report today has admitted that there was indeed some of this sort of thing going on, and that there was some hushing up of the report itself, which has only been released due to public pressure, and the government saying that it has asked Oxfam to stop bidding for any of the aid money that the government currently gives to that charity. So this is obviously groundbreaking, earth-shattering stuff for the charity, which is finding itself with something of an existential challenge right now.
And Jonathan, how are the top officials there reacting? Are they taking some responsibility for what went under their watch?
Well, according to whistleblower Helen Evans, who worked as Oxfam's global head of safeguarding between 2012 and 2015, an Oxfam aid worker was accused of coercing a woman to have sex in exchange for aid. And she also said on Twitter that she'd received 3 allegations of child abuse in Oxfam shops. Those are charity shops that people are used to seeing on the streets in Great Britain. In the space of 1 month, those allegations. Oxfam's Deputy Chief Executive Penny Lawrence has since resigned, saying that she was ashamed and takes full responsibility.
Jonathan, those are some shocking allegations. How did Oxfam manage to keep this quiet for so many years?
Well, that's something that has angered the Charity Commission, the watchdog that oversees charities in the United Kingdom. They said that they were informed of some allegations at the time, but they had no idea of the complete picture. And they had been told, they said, by Oxfam that no beneficiaries of the charity had been alleged to have been abused. And they now understand that's different. So they have opened an inquiry now into the charity itself. But of course, this isn't just restricted to Oxfam. Other charities are coming under scrutiny at the moment as well, including, for example, UN aid workers. And there have been allegations from high up in the UN that there has been similar abuse. They've been the subject of allegations when, again, the Times newspaper last week reported that a former senior official had claimed that UN staff have carried out thousands of rapes around the world. Andrew McLeod, who was chief of operations at the UN's Emergency Coordination Centre, said that predatory abusers use development jobs to get vulnerable women and children. And he estimated that 60,000 rapes had been carried out by UN staff in the past decade, with 3,300 paedophiles possibly working in the organisation and its agencies. So big questions all round in the field of international aid.
Really sparking a debate in the UK about foreign aid in general, Jonathan, hasn't it?
It has indeed, and as I said, the government has said to Oxfam that until they're confident that they can live up to the high standards required for UK taxpayers' money to be spent abroad in aid efforts, they don't want Oxfam to bid for any more contracts. Oxfam's agreed to that for the moment, and that's obviously something very important because a lot of Oxfam's money does indeed come from the government and aid money, which ultimately comes from the taxpayer. But additionally, this will hit Oxfam in the pocket because Oxfam also relies on, as I said, fundraising through charity shops where people bring old clothes to be sold in aid of the charity, and also through donations and legacies from the great British public and those further afield. And those are things which have also been hit, as people say they no longer trust the charity and aren't sure where their money will be spent and if the morals and ethics of the charity are up to the standards that they require.
All right, Jonathan Sacerdoti in London, thanks very much for that. To think that those people in Haiti and all of those disaster zones, in those kind of dire situations, without food, without water, without any basic needs, would be subject to that kind of treatment, to that kind of abuse, is just hard to believe. At least better late than never for that report to come out.